get back to you someday. How I go pay tomorrow when I hate to borrow. Find love the remedy. Don't turn around, call me lazy. I no go complain. I no go complain. Oh, I no go complain. Inflation want to kill me, but I no go die. 'Cause my father don't be pastor. Power be my life. I go stand on top of matter. I go rise low. I go shine low. I'm a winner. I'm a winner. Inflation want to kill me, but I no go die. Hello, hi. Hello and welcome back to Sisterhood. It's a pleasure to have you join us today, and we are excited because we are discussing a very interesting topic: desperate measures. I'm sure you're wondering, why are we talking about desperate measures? You know, they say desperate times call for desperate measures, and in this period of our existence, when so much is going on and we have a number of people who are living life and not quite getting to a particular desire at the time that they would have loved to, and that desire I'm speaking of is marriage, we need to sit back and think and consider, what are the issues causing this? What are the factors that we need to consider? And what can we do in response to what is happening in our society? Is there anything we can do as individuals to hasten the process, to expedite our dream day becoming a reality? Yes, that's what we're talking about today. And I'm not alone in the studio. I'm with my friend and sister. Her name is Anietie Osage. Yes, so today you actually have two Anieties in the studio. You are welcome, Anietie.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anietie. So good to join you this evening. I'm excited about this conversation, really.
It's going to be an interesting evening. And I can see we have Debbie already. Debbie, you're welcome. And Jimoski, you're also welcome. And to everyone who has joined us already on the show, you're welcome. And to those who will be coming soon, you're welcome in advance. Okay, Peter, you're welcome. Says, I'm waiting for pep talk, mama. Which one is pep talk? Peter, you need to explain. No, I'm not going to assume anything in this time. So let me know what you mean by pep talk. Jimoski, you're welcome. All right, so let's get into this. If you have been online, you may have seen one or two things to make you look at or think about this issue that we're talking about today. And I'm going to give you, call it a sneak peek into some of the stuff people have been going through. The first one is a story by Azizat of Intel region, and this is what the story says. It says a Nigerian lady has expressed her shock as her ex-boyfriend named Bernard set to wed another woman barely 3 days after ending their relationship. Okay, so you can understand what is happening here, right? Set to wed 3 days, just 3 days after ending their relationship. And via her TikTok page, the lady identified as Miriam revealed how she felt betrayed and disappointed after finding out that her man is getting married to another woman identified as Jacqueline. And she was sharing this online. And according to Miriam, Bernard introduced Jacqueline to her as his aunt's daughter. In other words, his cousin. But she ended up as his lover. So obviously he's been stringing her along, lying to her all along, and then finally 3 days to his wedding, he breaks up with her, and then she finds out the reason. That's just one case, okay? In another story, or like they say, in other news, Mr. Player finally informed Miss Loving that he's getting married to someone else after dating her for over 8 years. Now in her 40s, Miss Loving is shocked and disappointed as she is losing a lot. She's losing a friend, she's losing a boyfriend, she's losing the husband of her dreams, and she's also losing her business partner. And if you're wondering why she's losing a business partner, it's because Miss Loving had invited Mr. Player to join her in her business, and they have been working together since. So I'm thinking about how the first Monday will be, after the breakup. Because I mean, you can't say, get out, I don't want to see you anymore, because he has to show up in the office. He's your business partner. So I mean, really, for her, that must have been a really traumatic experience. But these are the reasons why we have to talk about this issue of marriage not happening at the time you want it to, happening later than you desire that it should, And as women, what can we do about this? Is there anything we can do? Is there anything that can make this situation better? So, Anietie, do you have any initial thoughts that you would like to share before we start picking on the details?
Okay, very interesting stories you've shared, Anietie, and it happens daily to different sets of people. So I wonder, for Miss Loving, I was thinking about how after 8 years the man broke up with her. What made her wait 8 years for this relationship to continually gather along? Was there a defined where she said, where are we going with this relationship? Did she ever have that kind of conversation with the guy? Or was it that, okay, yes, I promised marriage, when will the marriage happen? So I see it as there was no conversations had. No conversations were had in terms of, she did not define, what are we really doing here?
Yeah.
Are we just boyfriend and girlfriend and business partners for like forever? It happens. Some people want to be boyfriend and girlfriend forever.
Yes.
Or at what point are we going to get married? Is there a date? Is there a fixed date? Are we doing an introduction? Are we going to my parents' place? Are you coming to my family?
Yeah.
What exactly am I doing here? Because the man has used up all your time.
Exactly.
And he's your business partner, so a lot is going on there at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think somewhere along the line, the woman just took it for granted that, okay, there is a promise of a marriage sometime in the future.
Yeah.
But that future was not defined at all.
And probably because of the way he was acting. Because, there's a way that a man can be present in your life, and everybody will just conclude that it must be that this man wants to marry you. When somebody is showing up a lot, he's doing different things that seem like what a husband would do, when somebody is very present in your life, in this case, helping to build a business, when maybe there's a family event, they come and
all your family
all your cousins and all your siblings know them.
him.
It's just like, wow, this guy is great, Everybody feels
Everybody's
for him to
waiting for the date.
Exactly.
When you guys will be married.
Exactly.
And they've already associated him to your family. They actually treat him now like a family member. So it's traumatizing when that breakup, I can't imagine. So I believe that the business would even break up because of the cost of this. But
so these are things that ladies need to be conscious about, and I like the points that you picked. Number one, definition. Was there a definition? And ladies, really, we're already in the middle of this gist, because part of the problem is that some ladies say, hey, if I ask him outright, it may seem like I am needy. It may seem like I am desperate, or it may seem like I am trying to force him to marry me. And so because of that, some ladies will just be quiet and be hoping that eventually he will come and ask them for their hand in marriage. And then years go by, like in this case, over 8 years. Years go by, and then you now find out that this person had no intent of marrying you. He was just occupying space. So how do you prevent something like this from happening? What do you do to prevent something like this from happening? So for those of you online, please feel free to chime in and just leave a comment if you have some brilliant ideas on how women can prevent being taken advantage of like this, or being deceived like this. 8 years is a long time. Some people say 5 years. Some people, it's not just the timing of the relationship, like how long it was. It's the shock when the person leaves you and goes to somebody else, and you're not just hearing he broke up with me. That's little. he broke up with me and moved to another girl. Okay, that's a little more significant. But he broke up with me and he's getting married in 3 days' time.
Wow.
That
Wow,
that
that's a
is
lot.
serious. That's
That's
huge.
a lot.
Yes. So what are the things we can do to protect ourselves from situations like this? So we're going to get down to some of the solutions that you can apply to prevent yourself from being deceived like this or from being taken advantage of like this. Okay, so next thing I would like us to do is just look at some of the reasons why women marry late. So we'll just go through anyone that comes to mind. Feel free to share, and online also feel free to share if you know. Okay, so Onu says, okay, we're waiting for that. Rachel, hi Rachel, I see you. Good evening. All right, so some of the reasons why ladies marry later than they desire. Please note that we did not say why ladies marry late, because late is subjective now. Your late can be another person's too early. You know, you're saying getting married late is 27. Another person says getting married at 27 is way too early. I want to get married at 40. In fact, another person says, you know what, in my own case, I am not planning to have children at all. I want to live my life stress-free, no obligation to anyone. And then after I have finished building my empire, making a name for myself, I will now find some other old guy who has also taken care of himself, right? And has a lot of money, and then we'll get married and spend our later years together. I mean, that could actually be somebody's plan. So when you come and tell the person, oh, you're 40, you're not married, that means you're getting married late, that person gets you kind of like, what are you talking about? so this is not a matter of late, it's a matter of later than you desire. So if you desire to get married at 23 and you're now 25, 26, for you, that's late, right? So it's later than you desire. For if you were planning to get married at 21 and now you're 28, then it means that 7 years past your target, right? And I'm trusting that you set that target with some consideration. So maybe what you want your future to look like, or what your desires are, and so on. So what are the things that contribute or that cause these situations to happen? So I'll go first, and then Anietie, you share yours.
Okay.
So the first one I have here is unrealistic or unattainable expectations.
Very true.
What do you have to say about this? Is
So
it really true that some people's expectations are not realistic?
Yes. So for some women, they have what you call the list. The list of what the man I want to marry looks like. The list of what I'm expecting him. I want him to be tall, dark, and handsome. I want him to have money. I want him to have this. And due to that list and that expectations, sometimes they never meet somebody who measures up to that standard. So critical for us is to understand first and foremost what God wants for us, what his standards are first for us in terms of a husband. So what is his expectation? Why am I getting married to? Who am I getting married to? What is God saying concerning who I should get married to? And then it would be good to kind of lower those standards a bit, not lower them and throw them into the toilet, definitely, but also to know that we are not perfect. And so any man we are going to get married to is also not perfect. So when you are looking for those expectations in yourself, you should begin to work towards them in yourself, so that you measure up to what expectations you are putting out there. The other part is the fact that we need to also, the lady needs to also understand what are her goals, what are her purpose in life, what is she planning and aiming to be in the next 10 years, 20 years, and how whoever the standard she's measuring measures up to what it will be. So what would my 20-year, as a 60-year-old self look like in terms of, and then using those, what would my 60-year-old self look like, to define the type of man who would fit into that goal and purpose. So unnecessary expectations would lead to us not getting married on time. That's
interesting. Thank you for sharing those. And I would like to pick on something you said. which is, first of all, you don't just say, I'm expecting this, hello, don't just say, I'm expecting this in this person, and then you're not developing yourself
No,
at
not
all.
at all.
You know, if you are claiming, I want a man who is rich, you know, somebody who has an empire, then at least you should be developing yourself to also have an empire. Or even if you don't have an empire, develop yourself on how to manage one, so that you not come and destroy the man's empire. You understand what I'm saying? So that you can at least help him to build it and maintain it, rather than scatter the whole place because you didn't learn anything about how to run or maintain an empire. You get? All right. So that's one thing you mentioned. And another one is this issue of perfection. So when you're looking at this list, because you know some people are like, don't maintain a list at all. There's no such thing as a list. Well, I say I'm all in favor of lists, right? But then I want you to be flexible with that list. I want you to actually sit down and consider, like she said, all the things you know about yourself. What is it about you? What's your plan? What's your purpose? Where are you going to in life? What kind of person do you need for that, right? And then divide those qualities that you have listed into things that are necessary, like you need to have them in your husband, and the other things that are nice to have, so that if somebody comes, I'll use a simple example. Once upon a time, I had must have sideburns in my list. You know, then at a point, I realized, hey, you know how God will give you sense that this sideburns is not going to put food on the table. This sideburns is not going to comfort you when you're grieving and stuff like that. So sideburns is not crucial. So I put sideburns in the section that I call nice to have. So if he has it, cool. If he doesn't have it, no problem. Right? But other things like faithful, somebody that has the same values as you know, you have to look out for those things. Those were critical components in that list that I had to pay attention to and make sure that I had. Okay? So or make sure that the person had. So yes, list is something important, but please be flexible. You see sometimes ladies who are very rich are expecting that they must find a man who is as rich as they are or richer, right? And they may find a lot of good men, but they may not find one that is as rich as they are or richer. So what should they do? Should they keep waiting until they find the rich or richer man? Or should they find somebody who meets all the other qualities that they need? Do you understand? Somebody who is faithful, somebody who is there for them, somebody who supports them, somebody who loves them, somebody who tells them, you are wonderful, you can do this, keep going, I'm supporting you. You know, really think about it. What do you really need? And what do you want? Want you can do without. Need you need to look out for. So if we sometimes people say lower your standards, but I would like to believe that what they are referring to is those things that are not so important. Don't dwell on them. Don't be fixated on them. Okay. All right. So let's go to the next one. Some of the things that are an issue. Communication.
Okay.
People who don't know how to communicate, who don't know how to start a conversation with a stranger, who don't know how to, make friends. Is that what would you say about that? To what extent is that a problem?
Okay, so you will not marry somebody who you've never met before, or who you've never had a conversation with. So first you need to put yourself out there. But when I say put yourself out there, you need to be enjoying your life, number one, doing things that are important to you, and going to places that are important to you, meeting people that are important to you. And then the way you begin to, when you meet people, don't close up. Try to be friendly, and try to engage more, and try to open up conversations, start up conversations.
Yes.
Sometimes women are afraid to just walk up to a guy and say hello, because in their minds they will think the man is about, or the man will think I'm checking you. It's not necessarily chiking. It's just trying to be nice and say hello to the guy.
Yeah.
You never know what will come out of it.
Yes,
So.
the I think sometimes it's a fine art that needs to be learned or practiced,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
If I walk up to a guy and say, "Hello, my name is Anietie Bature. What's yours?" The guy will be looking at me like,
Where are you coming
especially
from?
if it's not we don't have a common interest at
Yeah.
that point that is
Yeah.
bringing us together, right? So those kind of introductions, you put yourself on the spot because you started by introducing yourself, right? And whatever response you get, you're going to see it as the person's response to who
So
you are.
Yeah.
So when you do that, it makes you really unsettled, especially if the other person is not very nice, okay? So rather, an easy thing to do is just use a subject that is not personal. So, for instance, you're in the same place and there's an event happening. Oh, this event is actually kind of interesting. I think they put up a good show this time.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, yeah, I think they did. I mean, the stage is something, and he stops there, and then he can say, okay, and the speakers too, they did this and they did that. So, in how you are carrying on about this meeting, right, you are making this guy realize that, oh, you are such a good conversationalist, you know how to converse, you know how to change, move from one subject to the other, you have a broad understanding of whatever it is that conference was about. They can, just from that little conversation, they can get you as, oh, she's intelligent, oh, she's very exposed and enlightened, oh, she has a lot of experience in so field. You get, just from, you have not said anything about your name, oh. Then by the time you have now had a chat,
talking about what your name
yes,
is, and
by the time you've now had a reasonable chat to some extent, and then you, of course, you're not going to dwell there. You have to move on. So something like, oh, well, it was nice meeting you. My name is Anietie. What's yours? And the person says, so
my name is Anietie also.
And then you want to walk off, and then the guy's like, oh, by the way, can I have your number? Maybe we can catch up sometime. I mean, if it was a good conversation, there's a likelihood the person may want to have that conversation again. But if you start by, my name is, and I am so and so, what about you?
So a common ground, common
yes.
Conversation topic is critical.
And something that is non-personal.
Yeah.
Non-personal. It can be the weather, it can be the queue at a shop, it can be anything. It can even be the economy and the forex. Okay. Forex is very easy. Everybody can resonate with forex. So
or the Nigerian economy.
Exactly.
The current prices of
food in the market.
In the market,
you can start from there.
Yes, you can.
Like
you
this.
Can.
Did you hear that Gary is now?
And it depends. If you are attending a meeting together, you can talk about what's happening in the meeting as well. Yeah. So that's okay.
Yeah. So some people say, oh well, I don't really have guys in my circle. Let's see. Please, can you explain this? Put yourself out there. Okay, yes, that's what we are dissecting now. Some people say, I don't really have guys in my circle, so what am I going to do? And one thing I always say is go where the fish are.
Exactly.
So somebody say, if you want to catch fish, go where the fish are. Me, I adjusted it a bit to say, if you want to catch fish, go where the type of fish you're like.
Looking for.
If you want saltwater fish, don't go to freshwater. Do you understand?
go to saltwater. I like that.
So there's a particular type of person that you're looking for. Where are you likely to find those people? And it may not necessarily be that it is a fixed location like a building, but it is also what are the qualities of that kind of person. So if you see them in a different place, you can identify them.
Exactly. So let me tell you. So when I wanted to get married, so I knew I would not get married to somebody that is outside the church.
Okay.
So definitely the brother must be attending church. That is critical. The brother must not be in a nightclub, definitely. So I looked out for a guy who was already in church that I was attending. So I met my husband in Daystar, so we actually joined ushering together. And I had some key values that I considered important to me, like he's serving in the house, he's committed, he's doing something in service to God. So I wasn't looking out for brothers who just come to church once on a Sunday morning and you never see them for like the next 2 weeks. So I was looking out for guys that were in church already, they were serving, right? They were committed. And then I was also praying as well. So where are you, what are you looking for is the first thing. Like Anietie Bature said, what are you looking for? What are the qualities you're looking for? Where most likely would you find these qualities of in a man? So if you're looking for somebody in the nightclub, definitely you should be visiting the nightclub. If you're looking for somebody in the church, you should be attending church.
Yeah.
So
and for some people, if you're looking for a corporate exec, you know, you may need to change careers or change your office, you know, because some people are like, I'm going to this other place. It's you know, some people actually take a pay cut to move to an office where they have more men who are in that age group that they want to get married to, right? And so they're looking at it like it's a temporary, should I say setback? That's a temporary sacrifice that is going to yield future lifetime
benefits. Very true, very true.
Yeah, so really, put yourself out there, right? Go where you meet the kind of people you're looking for. And please don't sit in your house. Don't sit in your house and just do. I mean, yes, miracles happen. You know, God could be really merciful and make somebody come and knock on your door and say, you know, the Lord said I should come to this house and knock. And hopefully you don't live in an estate where they have to get access, security access. If not, that means that miracle has small wahala. You understand? But assume that miracle is not going to happen. What are you going to do? Please go out. If you are in an office where you are the only single person, everybody else is married, that means the person cannot be from the office. If you are in a church and you are attending, maybe you're in a church where you're the only single person, or you're the only kind of your person in that place. You know how maybe some people as missionary or something, or maybe just because that's the church nearest to their house, you go there and you find out that every other person is just like around the area. They're not educated, they're not enlightened. You're the only person with a master's degree or above, and you want to marry somebody that's at your level or above. So how is that going to happen?
No, that's not going to happen. Actually, so the thing is that you would marry somebody you meet. You would not marry somebody you have never met, except Instagram dates now. Instagram. That's another platform. But at some point, you will need to meet the person. So you need to be in an environment or in a place where you can meet guys or the type of guy you want to marry. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
So if you are not in a place where you cannot meet the type of guy you are looking for, I think you should change location, like you said, into a space where you will most likely meet the type of guy you are looking for.
Yeah.
Very true.
Especially if you're the kind of person who has a challenge with the first thing we talked about, which is this whole communication stuff. You don't really know how to initiate conversations. So the only friends you have are people that you have worked closely with, maybe as your classmates or your colleagues. Then if in your office there's nobody like that, of course you're no longer in school. And then in church or your religious community, wherever you're serving, there's nobody like that. Then you need to expand your circle, please, so that you give yourself better chances of being found by the kind of person that you're looking for. Okay, so we have a comment. Let's see. King Sefion says, is anything wrong with a lady asking a guy out on a date? Whoa! Okay, let me let you go first.
Okay, so the world is changing. And as the world changes, also things are changing. For me, I would say there's nothing wrong in asking a guy out, for me personally, but it also depends on the lady and the guy. So if you are marrying, if the guy is a traditionalist, as per he's a traditionalist, he will find fault in you asking him out.
Yeah.
But if he's open-minded, he might not see anything wrong with that. So that's something to note. The other thing is, you as a lady, how confident are you in yourself? Are you asking the guy on a date for what? Do you want him to be your friend? Do you like something about him? Is it something maybe he's doing well in a business? Maybe you want to have a conversation with him concerning business. So that's a common ground. You can ask him out and say, oh, please, I would like to have a dinner with you to talk about how well you've done, how you've become successful in this line of business. True, something could happen from there.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong in asking a guy out on a date.
Okay, so thanks for that response. Cultural context, there are some cultures, especially in Africa, if a lady should ask a guy out, wahala. In fact, the guy will just scope you like this and look at you like you are useless. You came to ask me out. That means that you are useless, you are desperate, you are all of that. So ladies, please be aware of that. You have to really be culturally aware. In certain places, it will not be a big deal. But in some cultures, you are making a big mistake to go and ask an African man like that to go and ask him out. So please tread with caution. But that doesn't mean that you don't have anything else that you can do. Some if you are just in a shell expecting that somebody will come and knock on the shell and say, hello turtle, please can you stick your head out, let's see that you're in there, then you're not helping yourself. You need to come out. You need to have conversations. This conversation is so basic, but it's so serious. You need to be able to say hello, hi to people in the office, and you need to be able to, come back and say, oh, your presentation was fantastic.
Yeah,
I like the colors you used on your slide, or something. The way you arranged your thoughts, excellent.
Yes, you need
I mean, just that makes person say, wow, she commended me, and maybe even pay attention to, and realize that, oh, there's somebody like this in this office. Exactly. But if you're keeping quiet, you can just be that guy that just floats around the office like a ghost, like, she here, she not here. You don't know.
And some guys are shy. Some guys are shy.
Yeah. Some guys are shy. So there's the part where you give, like they say, green light, right? Let them see that, hey, I'm here, I'm open, I'm interested, I'm available. But it's not that you're going to initiate by saying, go out with me, you look good, I would like to go on a date with you. How about 7 p.m. on Saturday? Hey, wahala. So find the other thing. So, and then another way to do it is not ask out as per ask out. You can do the other part where it's like, oh, there's this event that is happening at this place.
True.
Are you interested in going? Are you planning to go?
True.
Maybe we
Very
could go
true.
together.
Very
So that, maybe
true.
find a way that it is a cost-saving initiative, I mean, you have to apply wisdom in these things. It's true.
No, very true. Very true. Wisdom is profitable.
So by the time the person is like, oh yeah, and this is because you paid attention, you probably know this person likes this kind of events and so on. So do your homework too, so that you are not you're not stuck, saying, oh, nobody has approached me and I'm here, and then they say, oh, but you're such a wonderful person, nobody got to know you, that's why nobody asked you, because hey, you didn't come out. Okay, so another question or comment we have. All right, so Jumoski says, why do most women always want to marry somebody from the church? Does that mean we don't have good men that are outside the church? Okay, so this is Jumoski's question. Do you want to go first or should I go first?
No, go first.
Okay.
I like to hear you.
Right. So I'll go first on this one. Jumoski, there's a way that that people think if I am a church girl, what I need is a church guy, and by default they expect I will find the right church guy in church. Okay, so, and that's because they're looking for people who have similar values, similar beliefs, and you're thinking if we've been going to church together, we are hearing the same preaching from our pastor, so hopefully the same instructions you have received and are applying in your life, the guy is receiving and is applying in his life. That's the hope, right? But something that everybody has to be aware of is, and KJ, please still put back that question. Something that everybody needs to be aware of is the fact that it's by their fruits that you will know them, not by their church attendance or not by how regular they are to religious gatherings. It's by their fruits. So even if you find somebody in church, you have to pay attention to what kind of life are they living, what do they stand for, what do they believe in, what are their values, how do they respond to this Bible or to these teachings that you have received. Are you people really on the same page, or is he just wearing the cloak of Christian, you know, or is he just religious, as in he's used to, he has been programmed to go to church on Sunday, so he goes to church on Sunday, but that doesn't mean that anything he learns in church follows him outside and he's applying it to his life. Now, can good people be found outside the church? Yes, you can find good people outside the church. Remember, we have said, go where the kind of fish you're looking for are. But then it's not just in a particular location. You also need to be able to identify their qualities, even if you don't see them inside church. Some people have met their husbands in the supermarket. I know someone who is happily married now. This should be maybe going on 16 years for them, and they met at the Palms. They kind of bumped into each other on the Palms. You know, that one of those corners.
Yeah, okay.
Person is coming, so that's coming, and then it's like, oh, sorry, and somehow, the oh, sorry, you see, became a conversation that somebody exchanged phone number, and then it became happily ever after. They got married and stuff, right? And they are still married now, and this is almost 16 years now. So yes, Jimoski, good men can be found outside church. The important thing is, ladies, please know how to look out for those important qualities. All right, so let's go to the next one. Pastor Rehoboth, hey, good evening, sir. He says, Anietie, we must begin to debunk the notion of a girl cannot ask a guy out. Bam! In this place, I'll put exclamation mark. Bam! Minister should help to shred these negative tendencies. What, sir?
Very true.
Yes, so this is Pastor Rehoboth, and I always want to acknowledge him because he's the one who did the marriage ceremony for my husband and I. It was in his church that we got married. Woohoo! Pastor Rehoboth. Yes.
Pastor Rehoboth. Nice to meet you online.
Yes, he's a blessing to us. So he says this has to be debunked, you know. And Pastor Rehoboth, you know, yes, it is true what you have said. And it is something that everybody has to acknowledge and tread with caution, especially in our cultural context. There are some other places that you go to, and by all means, feel free. It's not a problem at all. But in some other places, men really frown at it. In fact, I watched a movie today, not a movie, a post on TikTok today where this guy is from Uganda, and his daughter asked him, what if mommy had proposed to you? And his answer was very straight and very direct. Then we would not have gotten married. As in, that relationship would have, as in, he would not even have gotten into a relationship with her just because she asked him out or she proposed, because he says the man has to be a man. So please, let's be culturally aware, and let's also keep an open mind. I know many marriages that are succeeding today and everybody is happy and they are growing in love together, and it was the woman who initiated, right? Yes. So there's room to do that. Just tread with caution. Okay, so next one, let's see. Also, nothing stops a lady or a guy from prospecting for spouse in another church, particularly from Orthodox churches. Yes, yes, sir, yes, sir. Okay, Fairy Friend says, so if in the culture the lady cannot ask the man, how does she now show green light? Okay, we've talked about that. All right, okay, so let's go to, we have only 20 minutes left. Isn't it interesting how time flies?
Wow, it has been a very 20 minutes left.
And we have not even finished scratching the surface. Okay, so another thing I would like to talk about, let's see, because of the fact that we have just 20 minutes. All right, let's go to some of the things to consider. Now, there's something about this matter. You know, there's the part where you think, oh, everybody that is getting married later than they getting married in our cultural context, the late, age, right? They
considered or they wanted to get married.
Yes. Anybody, sometimes we think that it is the people, that something happened that made it happen that way. But you also find out that there are some people who decided by themselves that, look, I don't want to get married early, full stop. And we talked about that. We gave a scenario about that earlier. So if that is the case with you, there's some things that you need to consider as a lady. If you decide that I want to get married much later, there are certain things you need to consider, and you need to ask yourself certain questions like, do I plan to have children? you know. So if you plan to have children, then that means all of a sudden you have to consider the very famous what do you call it, biological clock.
That is ticking.
Yes.
Ticking.
You know how they will sing it for you, your biological clock is
ticking.
Go and get married, you know. So but if you want to have children and you're saying you don't want to get married now, then you have to, don't just take that decision in isolation, right? I believe this is a good place to consult your gynecologist or something.
Have a conversation with your gynecologist first. Talk to him about the consequences of your decision to get married at 30 or to get married at 40 or to get married at 50. So he would advise you better to say, okay, maybe you want to freeze your eggs. For those that have money.
For those that have money, please take notes.
For those that have money. You want to freeze your egg till when you are 40. Well, it's a decision you need to think about in respective to your own circumstance. So you want to be, maybe you want to become a career woman, as in you want to get to the CEO, I want to be CEO at 40. So I don't want any distraction. I don't want any children distraction. I don't want any husband distraction. That means you have more money, so you're able to make
those things, right?
Yes, you can make the choice to
when the time comes.
Freeze your egg. But you need to think about it and the consequences in the future. Would you be, when you are ready to get married, would you meet the man you want to, or the type of man you want to get married to?
There's something that you see these days where, you know, people tell you, I'm ready to get married, I want to get married, I'm in my 40s, but all the guys that are coming to me are younger. And I don't like younger guys because they're generally immature. You know, that's that thing. I mean, I'm always wondering, for how long will guys be called immature? But is there not a place where maybe when they cross 35 or something, they stop being seen as immature? Do you understand? So I think that, honestly, ladies, stop doing that thing of you just label every guy that happened to be born even 1 minute after you label them as immature. Give some people the chance to show you whether they are truly immature or whether they are mature, because you actually find some younger men who are mature enough, you know, for you to be happily married to. So that's the next thing. Understand that if you have chosen that you're going to get married much later, at the time you're ready, people your age, guys your age that are still single and have never been married, maybe very few or hard to
Limited.
find. Yes.
Yeah,
so either you
find.
really go out of your way to find them, or you increase your scope of what is acceptable.
You kind of say, okay, if I'm looking at men between this certain age, I can broaden the range.
Exactly. And then if you're looking for, maybe now you can start considering people who are widowers, right?
Or people who maybe have been divorced before, and maybe their wives died, like you said, widowers.
Or something. Yeah. So you have to. You can't show up at that late
at 40,
period. You know, you can't show up at that point and expect you're going to find a sparkling. It's okay to expect, but please, if you don't find, don't be angry with the world. It was a decision you made. You should acknowledge that you have some of these challenges when you now finally decide, I want to get married at that time. So just take this into consideration and decide, if I am going to, then I know this is going to be a possible challenge and this is how I will deal with it. So don't come later on and say, oh, if I had known, nobody told me, I didn't realize, and then you're getting upset with everybody around you or feeling regret. Just make sure that you are very aware of the choice you're making and the consequence of that choice, and then put whatever measures you can put in place to safeguard that dream that you have in the future. Okay. All right, the next thing I'd like us to go to touch on is some of the things that, hold on a minute. Yes, some of the things that you can do to increase your chances. So we've talked about things that cause delays. We've talked about things you need to consider. Now let's talk more. We've talked a little even on things that you can do to increase your chances, like starting conversations. But there's one that I want us to visit, this issue of character and qualities.
Okay.
You know, is there any role that you have as a lady when it comes to character, or is it just about packaging? How, like, just make sure the dress looks good,
how packaged the man is.
And this time
Tall, dark, and handsome.
But because really there's a place where some people think, oh, as long as I'm looking good, I'm smelling fresh, then I'm fine. And that part is important, but that's not all there is to it, right?
Not at all.
Because sometimes you find very good looking, badly behaved.
Badly behaved. Badly behaved men.
What about women? Yes,
and women as well.
Yes, we are trying to talk to our sisters here. You understand? It's not enough for you to.
So Anietie, I always believe that we attract who we are. So when people say, a good girl marries a bad guy, I'm always like, okay, was she really a good girl? Or who was she in the, inside, who was she? Was she a really good girl that she attracted a bad man? Yes, I believe that it could happen maybe sometimes. But I also feel that if you have the Spirit of God and you pray concerning the matter, you're not just walking according to what you think. The most if you believe and trust that God will navigate your path in such a way that you are able to meet a guy that aligns with who he is, who God wants for you first. There's a potential, there's the higher the possibility that you meet the man, the right guy.
Yeah.
But first you must work on yourself. What are your values? If you want to marry a guy that is kind, are you kind? If you want to marry a guy that loves his family, great with his mother, treats people well, is making money, are you doing the same thing? So first work on yourself internally first, your values as a person, before you begin to think about who you are looking out for.
Yeah. I like the part that you talked about, you attract who you are, right? There's the other part where you are able to identify people that you how should I put it, what you have dwelt on.
Yes, true.
Do you understand?
True.
So for instance,
Very true.
Sometimes people will tell you, oh, vision board. Part of vision board is creating a picture
of what you are looking for.
Yes, that is in your mind, such that somehow you attract it. I know some other people call it the law of attraction and so on. So let me give you a very recent example. Yesterday was International Women's Day, right?
Yeah.
And in my office, we did this whole celebration and everybody wore purple, purple, purple. So there was purple everywhere. Do you know, as I was driving home, I was just noticing everybody that was wearing purple on the road. I'm like, no, this is too much. At a point, I realized, okay, I know what is happening here.
Because
I have seen a lot of purple today. So now I'm seeing purple all over the road. And someone will say, okay, what? Doesn't mean I need to go and be looking at men that are looking good. No, it means that in your own space, you need to sit down and write down. And this is part of why the list is good. Write down what a good man in your definition, right, looks like. And please note that your definition includes all the wisdom that has flowed into your life over the years. What does good look like for you? By the time you keep a catalog, or you keep an inventory of the qualities of that good person. The same way I was able to identify purple on the road randomly. That's how you also be able to, in a crowd, in a multitude, somehow you will just see those qualities. They'll just stand out.
Yeah, of who you are, what you're looking for, and who you are as a person.
It could be just one tiny trait, and you just notice, hey, I noticed how that guy responded to that lady when she poured the water on the table.
I like him.
Exactly. There's some kind of resonance, you begin to vibrate on the same frequency. You get what I'm saying. So yes, it's important for you to do this. Actually, just take some time to, in your mind, what are the beautiful qualities? What are the life
values?
The
values that I'm looking
habits,
for, the
and stuff
habits
like that this person you hope to get married to has, and you see that it will influence how you view people and make it so much easier for you to identify when a good person is in your space. You see, identifying is one thing. After you have identified, what do you now do? We go right back to communication. Because you cannot have that good guy sitting beside you in church and you're just sitting there or wherever it is and you're just focused on the preacher. And the only thing you say to him throughout is the grace. You know when they say turn to your neighbor and share the grace one you just turn and then you walk out.
No. Say hello.
That day you become
turn
the person
to your neighbor,
bouncing,
say hello.
I'm bouncing all the other versions of what the pastor said and the other place in the back. Do you understand? Like, oh, something like this. I'll be like, and you know that thing is also in this Moses did something like that too. And then we have to come anyhow.
No, but the church can help. You know, the church can help as well. Where the church says, okay, let's have this singles program. And then talk to everyone in this place or say hello to somebody you don't know.
Exactly.
And then it's helping the ministry.
Yes,
you
just
know?
trying to icebreaker. Well, some people, even the hello that they are saying is very, very rigid hello. Ask somebody, how was your day? How was your day? You just say fine. They make mistake and ask me, single woman, how was your day?
Tell him his shirt
and you're looking
nice.
Good. I'll be like, oh, my day was kind of refreshing. The way your shirt is. I mean, the color just speaks of life.
Like this, your beautiful blouse.
You know, something, connect it somehow and say, how about you? How was yours? Just find something, and if the person shares an exciting day, then say, oh, fantastic, I'm so happy for you. If the person shares a gloomy day, oh, wow, that must have been really rough. Sorry about
empathy.
That. I hope tomorrow will be better.
My
brother.
And the guy will say,
let's continue hearing what pastor is saying. All right, so let's take a few more comments before we continue. All right, so Kingsley F. Young says, there's an issue on ground. The lady has a guy she's in a relationship with, but he's broke. Hey! Now, there's a man who is ready to marry her.
Tough question.
And he's rich. What should she do, gang? So, you know, where some people say, show me the money, right? In fact, I know someone who was very particular about money. She needed to be sure that you had money, as in have it well before she can attempt to marry you. So if really for that lady, her priority in life is money, and she does not have the money for herself. Do you understand?
I understand what you're saying.
She doesn't have the money for herself, and she knows if she does this love that she's doing with this other guy, both of them will be poor together. So, especially if she does not see potential for growth, because she's already broke.
Future growth.
Then the other guy too is broke, and her priority is money. Of course, for her, she will just choose the rich guy. End of story. But for somebody else who says these other things are my priority, not necessarily money. Money is one of the things, but it's not the main thing. And then you look at this guy, he has money, but some of those other critical values he does not have
them.
No, you can't go and marry that one, because especially if you know you are able to make your own money. This is why, you know me, I never miss an opportunity to tell ladies, please try to be financially independent so that you can marry for love, not for money.
No, but you know, Anietie, I think we as women, we should stop focusing on the things that can easily fade away. Because money can easily finish.
Just like that.
The man you marry today might lose his job. He might lose his business. So what else is attracting you to him? What else beyond the money? So if you look at it, the man doesn't have the right qualities. Go for the man with the right qualities. As far as he has the potential for growth, potential to, he knows where he's going to. He might not have money today, but he has a vision. He understands where he's going to. I think you should marry the person that knows where he's going to, who would help you go to where you are going to also. And stop only looking for a man with money.
So I think bottom line there is money is not everything. For you, you have to know yourself, understand what is important to you, what are the values that you cannot negotiate away, you know, and pay attention to those. Make sure you find them in the person you say yes to, so that you will not become the rich, miserable wife. Okay? All right, so Kingsley Bature, oh, my darling husband says, yes, so, okay, Pastor Robert, Go where the fish are. Okay. All right. And can we show some of the other comments? Yep. Even if they are in another church or another location, yes, or another department in the same church self. Because recently I had to advise somebody who was in a department where she's the only single lady. All the other men are married. I said, please, my sister, what are you looking for in that particular department? You can serve the Lord in many places, you know.
Go to where you will be found.
Why not try ushering?
Go to where you will be found.
Or the greeters. Where people will see your face, you know. All right. Okay. So we attract who we are. Yes. And is there any more? Is that it? Maybe she's a good girl outside, but inside it's like she likes bado. All right. Okay, so wow, it's about time to wrap this up, and we have touched on so many things. Ladies, we've talked about the challenges and some of the reasons why people get married, or why we get married later than we desired. We've talked about some of the things you should consider if by yourself you decide I want to get married later, right? And then we've also talked about a few things that you should consider, a few things that you can do to increase your chances of being found by that wonderful person that you desire and that you hope to spend the rest of your life with. We wish you well, and we wish you grace. And please, another thing you need to consider, final one, is a mentor. Follow who?
No road.
You know,
Follow
it's something that
no
we used to do a
road.
lot back in the day, but I don't know. Before, you'd find some older lady in your community who you'd go, maybe you're helping them to wash clothes, helping them to take care of their baby or something, and in that period you are learning from them. You ask a few questions, they answer. You bring one issue, they help you reason it out. You tell them, there's this guy that likes me, or this is this, that's that. What do you think? You know, so find somebody like that, somebody who knows the way, someone you see that has is modeling the kind of life that you desire, and someone you know has your best interest at heart and will give you good advice. And learn from them, and glean some additional wisdom from them. In the multitude of counselors, there is safety. So today I'd like to thank my special guest Anietie for being on the show with us today. I mean, I think Anieties are cool.
Ooh, yeah.
This has been an interesting show. So everyone, please remember to share if you got value from this show. Share. Debbie, I see your sweet comments. Great show today. Thank you. What I learned is to expand your origin as a woman who is looking. Yes, thank you, Debbie. And if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please do, so that you get notified every time something special is coming up. And finally, if this has been great, remember to leave a like for us, and join us again next Saturday on Common Sense for Relationships. Okay, so follow us on all our social media handles: on IG, Anietie Bature; Facebook, Anietie Bature; TikTok, Anietie Bature; and here on YouTube, Anietie Bature. So it's been great. Thank you so much. And remember, like we always say on this show, common sense is not so common. Even on Sisterhood, common sense is not so common. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye, guys. Bye, guys.
African mentality. Okay, it's a wrap. See you next time. Great one. Thank you.
That's nice.
Dara Benny. Okay. Are we doing this, or are we starting another season?
Good show.
Yes, thank
Good
you.
show,
I think
my
this
dear.
was fun.
Yeah, this was nice.
Yes.